This is a great piece. So I'm talking, the way that things have gone on university campuses, and there's so many examples. Lindsay Shepherd and the Laurier University is an important one here. I'm going to go to instant wisdom. Jonathan Haidt is an American social psychologist, professor of ethical leadership at New York University. Really interesting stuff. He's been called one of the world's top thinkers by Prospect Magazine, been called top global thinkers by Foreign Policy Magazine. Wait till you hear what he's got to say as how the nature of discussion has changed on university campuses. Stay with me. Featuring John Lennon today, 37 years since he was shot dead on Friday, on December 8th, 1980. That was Dream, first issue of the 1974 album Walls and Bridges. Time now for instant wisdom. Jonathan Haidt is an American social psychologist, professor of ethical leadership at New York University. He specializes in the psychology of morality. Been named one of the top global thinkers by Foreign Policy Magazine, top world thinkers by Prospect Magazine. He's the author of the New York Times bestseller, The Righteous Mind, Why Good People Are Divided by Politics and Religion. I think recently, though, he's gained a lot of attention for his critique of what's going on in the humanity and arts departments of universities, which began with an article published in Atlantic magazine entitled The Coddling of the American Mind. In the name of emotional well-being, college students are increasingly demanding protection from words and ideas they don't like. Here's why that's disastrous for education and mental health. In this clip, he's describing how discussion and debate has changed from addressing specific issues to focusing on the position of privilege, in quotes, of the speaker, which guarantees there won't be a healthy exchange of ideas, much to the detriment of students. Here's the clip.
So what's interesting about the way discourse has changed, I think it's actually quite dangerous for free inquiry and for universities, and April has written brilliantly on this. The way it's changed is that certain norms that grow out of the Marxist tradition have been established on campus. And so one of them is what you might call the ad hominem albus argument. I just looked this up this morning. Albus is the Latin word for white. So, we all know what an ad hominem argument is. It's not a valid form of argument. You reject, rather than arguing against what someone said, you say, yeah, well, you're Jewish, therefore, or, you're gay or whatever. So therefore, I don't have to listen to you. And so what students are taught in many of their classes is start with an analysis of privilege. So who's the speaker? What are the speaker's motives? Is the speaker just defending his privilege? And so since it's often, this is literally most of the arguments I've gotten, most of the counter arguments, literally since I started this last August with my Atlantic article with Greg Lukianoff, we've been scouring the internet. We've been looking for people arguing back. We've been looking for reasons why we might be wrong. What have we missed? And I kid you not, more than half of the arguments, and I'm talking like a total of maybe 6 blog posts, like nobody's really argued back, but most of them are basically, well, they're white males. They're just defending their privilege. And so that's what I call the ad hominem albus argument. And if students learn to start every analysis with a privilege check and to dismiss arguments made by the privileged people and to emphasize arguments made by the victim people, they have more authenticity, they have more valid life experience. Well, if this is what they're learning in college, we're basically, we're teaching them to judge everybody by their race and sex? Are you serious? This is really what we're doing? Yes, this is what we are doing on campus. And so it's no surprise then that you cannot argue them out of a position. I'm not saying they could argue us out of a position. I'm not saying we're more rational. But at least, you and I come from a tradition where if someone gives you an argument, you at least address yourself to the argument, not to the person.
Oh boy, how recognizable is that's the nature of discussion and the way that name-calling has come into place, accusations of that sort, anything to avoid the actual discussion. Maybe most prominent example is in the climate change debate, where the code word is climate denier. But that's been used to stop debate on any aspect of the climate agenda, any aspect. And I think it's unhealthy. And I think it's actually turned a lot of people off. But this is what's going on at university campuses to some degree, and certainly by some professors.